Hello and welcome back to the Jessica Pinili podcast. How are we going? This is going to be a bit more of like a pep talk episode. But before we get into it, we're going to do an angel card pull. This is going to be the energy for the rest of the day. If you're listening to this late at night, then maybe this is going to be the energy going into the morning for you. I am feeling the call to pull two cards. So while I'm shuffling, think of a number between 1 and 2. I don't know why I said between, but think of 1 or 2. Choose whatever your heart desires first. Keep it, hold it. Number 1, number 2. And if you're watching here on YouTube, I would absolutely love for you to hit the subscribe button, to hit the thumbs up. It is really, really supporting my channel, and I appreciate all of you who are currently subscribed. It makes me so happy. I'm building a community here on YouTube, something that I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. So I've got the cards. Have we got our number? My number ones. Your card is Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. The first word that came to my mind is feminine energy. I don't read from the book. If you're here, I don't read from the book. I always just get like an intuitive download. So it may not be directly related to what's in the book, but the first thing for me was just feminine energy. So maybe you've been operating in your masculine energy as of late. Maybe you're feeling really tight and rigid in your body. This for me is just a call for you to really step into your fem energy, do something with fem energy, something with beauty, something just to make you feel like a goddess. That's what I'm getting. So that's my number ones. And my number twos, we've got leap. I like this one. You go first. The universe will catch you. Whatever you were thinking about as I said this card and why you chose this number, just do it. Just do it. As Nike would say, just do it. Take the leap. Go first. The universe is going to catch you. Everything happens in perfect divine timing. And I want you to remember that. And this card is actually a great segue into the mini pep talk that I want to give you all, especially as we started a brand new year, but conversations I've been having with my own clients. And I definitely feel all the time. You all know, if you have been a listener for a long time, you know that I bring a lot of the concepts that I speak about with my clients because I know it resonates with all of you here listening and watching the podcast. And one of those is having this like timeline of when you should have things figured out. I always say to my clients, I turned 31 this year. I turned 31 in May, and I feel I love my life. Every day is a celebration. I was doing a bit of reflection. This is just a little bit before we have the pep talk. This is a little bit of context. I moved into this beautiful new apartment with my partner, something that I've been manifesting actively for the past 8 months, and something that I envisioned a long, long time ago. But in 2018, I was in a shitty situationship. I was in an apartment. It wasn't particularly bad, but it didn't feel good for my energy. And I was living with this situationship at that point in time. I was very miserable in my job. I was a personal trainer manager, so PT manager. I was managing a gym, I was managing personal trainers, and it once fulfilled me to be in the fitness industry, but just what I was doing wasn't fulfilling. I knew my soul was meant for so much more. I had had visions and daydreams about starting my own business, and back then what I do now wasn't really a thing, and it's a big, big, big thing right now, but back then it wasn't. So I really didn't know how to conceptualize it and bring it into the 3D physical reality. So I spent, there was probably a good year from 2017 to 2018, or maybe even a bit longer, where I was very deeply unhappy, in the senses I felt like I was running out of time. I felt like I needed to figure out my life and my purpose. I needed to figure out what I was doing. I was going to get in my 30s and not meet my soulmate, not be in a regulated relationship, not be able to afford things, always be stressing about paying my rent, not be able to travel, have freedom. Most importantly, not be my own boss. And that's something that I deeply have wanted for a long, long time. And I was reflecting on that as I was sitting in this apartment when we moved in. So at time of this recording, we haven't even been in this apartment for a week. It is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, the fifth day that I've been in this apartment. So on the weekend, I was just sitting and I was looking out. I was sitting on this floor where I'm currently sat. I was just looking out onto the balcony. The balcony is huge, and I was just like, wow, I wish I could go back and just give 2018 Jess the biggest hug, and just hold her while she's crying with so much uncertainty and so much doubt and so much resentment for the world. However, to play devil's advocate on my past self is like I wasn't really moving the needle of making change. I was complaining a lot to my friends, to my dad, to anyone that would listen. I was, entertaining this same situationship, the same man for years. It was close to 3 years. I was willingly putting myself in these situations. And something I've learned, something I teach my clients is don't forget we have an active choice every single day. And but if it's anything that I wish I could do is really just go back and hug that Jess and tell her that there is no timeline. And this is really the message that I felt called to bring onto this podcast episode. There is no timeline for where you're at. You don't need to have things figured out by a certain age. You don't need to hit a certain amount of success by a certain age. Yes, you can have goals and yes, you can strive towards something. But I say to my clients, I turned 31 this year, as I was saying, and I don't know what's going to happen. I love what I do right now. I love my life right now. I feel like every day I'm living my purpose, helping my clients, creating content. And this is it right now. In 5 years time I could wake up and I could not have any kind of connection. That's what I'm looking for. I didn't want to say the word attachment because that's not what I meant. The I could wake up and have no connection with this anymore, like I did with the fitness industry. When I first started, I loved it. I loved it. I worked, God, I think my alarm went off for like 6 years at like anywhere between 3:20 a.m. and 4:20 a.m. for 6 years straight. On the weekends, the sleep in is probably 4:45 a.m., 5 a.m. So I loved it. I really, really loved it. I love what it taught me about people, what it taught me about women. It got me into being more into personal development. But there was a time, and I can't quite pinpoint, I don't think it was exactly 2018. I think maybe towards the end of 2017, where I was like, I don't love this. It's not making me happy. It's not making me feel fulfilled anymore. It's not giving me the the feeling that I once had. And I think that so many people, and the conversations I have with high achieving women is we think that we're going to find the one thing and then we're going to lock it in and that's it. And what I offer to you today is number one, there is no timeline. You are up against yourself. I feel like I love my 30s. I think towards the end of my 20s, like things were starting to really fall into place. But like I haven't even been in my 30s for a whole year and I just love it. The vibe is different. I just feel like there's so many more opportunities. I feel like I have this newfound confidence. I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm like starting my life again with all this knowledge and everywhere I want to be. I have so much more confidence in myself and in my abilities. And I wish again I could go to my younger self. Everything happens as it's meant to, but I wish I could go to my younger self and tell her, like, you're not going to just find one thing and do it for the rest of your life, and you don't need to. I say this to my younger sister. She's 24 and I always say to her, you don't need to figure out that one thing. You get to explore, you get to make mistakes, especially if you're listening and you're in your 20s or you're even in high school listening. I know I have some high school listeners. You don't need to have it figured out. You honestly don't. You need to try new things. And even if you're listening this in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, you get to still try new things. You don't need to do one thing at a time. You don't need to stick it out for a long time. I stuck in the fitness industry far too much longer than I should have because I just didn't feel like I had the confidence to move and do something different. And in fact, I didn't even really know how to conceptualize it, but I had to start. And part of that starting for me was showing up on social, sharing content. Yes, it was in the fitness niche, but that's something that I was like, I want to do this. I want to show up. I want to do more things like this on social media. And so whatever you're thinking, whatever is coming to mind, if you're having stress, you feel like you have to have it figured out. You feel like you need to know the answers. You feel like you need to know your life's purpose by the time you're 30 or 40 or 50, or you're in your 50s right now and you're going through a whole new rebirth. I feel like every decade is basically a new rebirth, and you're just overwhelmed and confused and you think you need to like get to this point where everything seems to like all the puzzle pieces fit, I don't think that's what you should be striving for. And then, of course, this is all personal. All of you watching here on YouTube, like, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you want to slide into my DMs, if you're listening to this, absolutely let me know what you think when it comes to purpose. But purpose, really, we are living it every single day. Even though my life was miserable, like I felt like I was so miserable in my life in 2018, I was still living my purpose because I was actively choosing it. I was operating from that identity, which was once my purpose. And so for you, you get to make a choice every single day of the things you want to try, the things you want to do, of the leaps you want to take. But it doesn't have to be in a time frame. Like you don't need to find one thing now. Like if you're 28, it's not like, okay, I only have 2 more years, and by the time I'm 30, like I need to know what I'm doing and make X amount of dollars and have it. No, I'm still figuring out. Only a couple of years ago, my partner came into my life, and that's a whole new thing to navigate and be like, all right, now we're planning for two. We're planning for both of us, and like where we are taking each other in this relationship, how we are operating individually, and things are changed, things are molding. Always be ready to adapt to change. And I think that's the biggest thing. But if it's anything I can tell you from learning in the past couple of years, is the things that light up your heart, the things that excite you, the things you cannot stop thinking about, the things that you lie awake at night and it's not like keeping you up anxious anxiety. It's the things that you're just like, oh, so like in awe about it, and you want to learn more, and you want to consume more, and you want to do more. Follow those things. Even if right now it's like, say if one thing's like starting a business, but you have no idea, you just need to start somewhere. It doesn't mean today is the day you quit your job, but you need to start somewhere. And a lot of people may listen, and you may be listening to this and think, okay, what if I do fail? Okay, I failed. I failed so many more times in the first couple of years of business than I did succeed. And I share this with my clients. I don't always share this, but I did. I failed a lot more than I experienced successes. I had a lot of success in the first couple of years, especially when coaching online the way that I do was only beginning to be a thing, but I had a lot of failures. And yeah, it's hard. Failure fucking sucks. It really, really sucks. But it taught me so much about myself. It taught me so much of how I want to operate a business. It taught me so much about being my own CEO, stepping into a CEO vibe. So this is your reminder. There is no timeline. You put a timeline on yourself. Yes, you can be like, in 12 months, these are things that I want to achieve. But I mean, like, grander scheme of purpose, of fulfillment. Like I said, I feel fulfilled right now. I'm living in my purpose, and I'm waking up and I'm celebrating life. But in 5 years' time, I may wake up and be like, you know what? I actually just have this interest in becoming a doctor and becoming a lawyer and becoming a professional dancer. I don't know. We don't have crystal balls, but I want you to go with your feeling. I want you, this is, everything I speak about in this podcast, the podcast as a whole, sorry, is about developing the relationship with yourself. And that's exactly what I want you to do. So you can listen to those and know, even when the fear comes up, it's okay to embrace. But the only way that you're going to see another side, or if something works out or if something doesn't, is if you try it. But allow yourself time to make mistakes, allow yourself time to learn, allow yourself time to try new things. That's the best thing you can do, and be able to expand your capacity to be more, and teach your nervous system what you want to be safe. That's for another podcast episode, so I won't go into it now, but definitely if you want to see a podcast episode on that, let me know. But I hope this has helped even one of you watching or listening to this. And trust me, I know what it's like to have that doubt, or to feel like I need to, like I was like, I need to have everything figured by the time I'm 30. So I don't have things figured, but that's fine. I'm listening. I'm following the little things that are lighting up my life and my heart and my soul. And that's important. I appreciate all of you. I hope this has helped at least one of you watching or listening to this. And the next podcast episode will be recorded when I'm in Bali. So I will speak to you then. Go follow me on Instagram if you want to see Bali updates. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.